Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and today I want to talk to you about something that might be happening to your brain right now without you even noticing. Have you been experiencing small memory lapses lately? Perhaps difficulty remembering where you put your keys or the name of that famous actor who always appears in that show. Many of you might be thinking, oh, that's just normal aging. But what if I told you these small memory lapses could be the first signs of a devastating process that's silently poisoning your brain? And most alarming, the main culprit is hidden in foods you consume daily, believing they're good for your health. That's what we're going to discuss today. How your diet might be slowly damaging your brain and what you can do to protect it, strengthen it, and even reverse existing damage. Stay with me until the end, because I'll share exactly which foods you should avoid and which you should include to keep your mind sharp for many years to come. Let's start by understanding what happens in the brain as we age. Modern neuroscience has revealed surprising discoveries about how our diet directly affects our brain function. Refined sugar and processed carbohydrates that make up much of the modern diet act as a true poison for the aging brain. When consumed regularly, they cause what we call in medicine neuronal glycation, a complex process where sugar molecules bind to brain proteins, stiffening them and dramatically compromising their function. Can you imagine a precise and delicate mechanism like your brain functioning with rusty parts? That's exactly what happens. This glycation creates an inflammatory cascade that damages synapses, the connections between neurons, and significantly reduces the brain's ability to eliminate toxic proteins like beta amyloid, the main marker of Alzheimer's that we find in imaging tests. It's as if your brain were an office where the cleaning system stopped working and toxic waste begins to accumulate everywhere. Let me share with you the case of Mary, a 72-year-old patient who came to my office visibly distressed. She had forgotten the way to her daughter's house, a route she had taken weekly for more than 10 years. With tears in her eyes, she asked me, "Doctor, am I losing my mind like my mother did?" The fear of Alzheimer's was written all over her face. When analyzing her diet, we discovered that her breakfast consisted of processed orange juice, white bread, and jam, a true glycemic bomb early in the morning when her brain was already vulnerable after overnight fasting. What Mary didn't know was that each sip of that juice and each bite of that bread was creating an inflammatory storm in her brain. Many of you might be wondering now, but what's wrong with bread and fruit juice? Aren't they healthy foods? This is the great trap of the modern food industry, selling as healthy products that are silently compromising our brain health. There are 5 particularly dangerous foods that act as this silent poison for brains over 60, and I bet many of them are present in your daily diet. First, processed fruit juices. Even those labeled no added sugar concentrate natural fructose without the fibers that would naturally slow down its absorption. It's like injecting sugar directly into your bloodstream. Did you know that a 10-ounce glass of orange juice contains approximately 30 grams of sugar? That's almost the same as a can of soda. The second villain is refined bread, cookies, and pasta. These foods are quickly converted to glucose in our bodies, causing insulin spikes that trigger neuronal inflammation. A Harvard University study followed more than 6,000 people for 5 years and found that those with higher consumption of refined carbohydrates showed cognitive decline 1.5 times faster than others. Can you imagine that? With each bite of that white bread at breakfast, you might be accelerating your brain's aging. Third, we have ultra-processed foods rich in hidden sugars, trans fats, and chemical additives that compromise the blood-brain barrier, your brain's natural protection. This barrier functions as a selective filter, allowing nutrients to pass while blocking toxic substances. When it's damaged, your brain is exposed to all kinds of systemic inflammation. Recent studies from the National Institute on Aging show that people with diets rich in ultra-processed foods display reduced brain volume in imaging tests, especially in areas associated with memory. The fourth group of dangerous foods are sodas and sweetened beverages. Beyond sugar, these drinks contain components like phosphates that can directly interfere with cognition. Research published in the prestigious journal Alzheimer's and Dementia showed that regular consumption of sodas is associated with lower brain volume and worse performance on memory and learning tests. Do you regularly drink soda? Even that diet soda at lunch might be compromising your brain through other mechanisms. Finally, we have industrialized sweets and desserts. These foods combine quick-absorbing sugars with hydrogenated fats, creating a perfect storm for the vulnerable brain. A single piece of commercially produced cake can contain up to 40 grams of refined sugar and trans fats that remain in the body for weeks, fueling chronic inflammatory processes. Do you usually reward yourself with a sweet treat after lunch? This small habit might be silently stealing your future memories. But I don't want you to leave this video just feeling scared or discouraged. The good news is that nature offers us incredibly powerful brain protectors. There are foods that have demonstrated in scientific studies the ability to neutralize these damages and even reverse early signs of cognitive impairment. I'll share with you the 5 main foods that I recommend to all my patients concerned about their brain health. First, we have deep water fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. They're rich in omega-3 DHA, a fundamental component of neuronal membranes. A Columbia University study showed that people with higher blood levels of omega-3 had brains that appeared 2 years younger on MRI scans. DHA not only protects existing neurons, but also stimulates neurogenesis, the birth of new neurons, something we until recently believed was impossible in adult brains. Try to include fatty fish in your diet at least twice a week. And if you don't consume fish, talk to your doctor about high-quality omega-3 supplementation. The second group of protective foods are cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, and cabbage. These vegetables contain sulforaphane, a compound that activates powerful brain detoxification mechanism. It's as if you were sending a specialized cleaning team to your brain. Harvard University researchers discovered that women who consumed more cruciferous vegetables had cognitive abilities equivalent to people 1 to 2 years younger. You can include these vegetables daily in your diet, either in raw salads, sautéed, or even in green juice. Third, we have red and purple fruits like blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries. Their anthocyanins, responsible for the intense coloration, have the incredible ability to cross the blood-brain barrier and directly combat oxidative stress in brain cells. A study published in the Annals of Neurology showed that women who consumed at least 2 servings of berries per week delayed cognitive decline by up to 2.5 years. Imagine, something as simple and delicious as adding berries to your yogurt might literally be protecting your most precious memories. The fourth brain protector is extra virgin olive oil. Its polyphenols reduce neuronal inflammation and protect synapses. A large study known as PREDIMED demonstrated that people following a Mediterranean diet rich in extra virgin olive oil had 35% less risk of developing cognitive impairment. Use olive oil generously in salads and to finish dishes, but avoid frying with it, as high temperatures destroy many of its beneficial compounds. Finally, we have nuts and seeds that provide vitamin E, a crucial antioxidant that protects brain cell membranes. A University of California study found that People who consumed nuts regularly had better cognitive function regardless of age, gender, or ethnicity. Just a handful of nuts, chestnuts, or seeds per day can make a significant difference in your long-term brain health. Have you already incorporated this habit into your routine? Let's return to Mary's case, my 72-year-old patient. After 3 months following a protocol eliminating the poison foods I mentioned and incorporating the brain protectors, she reported a surprising transformation. It's as if the mental fog had dissipated. I rejoined my book club, I remember my grandchildren's names without hesitation, and yesterday I drove to my daughter's house without GPS. Her inflammatory marker tests showed a 40% reduction, a remarkable result in such a short time. Isn't it amazing how our brain can recover when we give it the right nutrients? Based on more than 2 decades treating patients with cognitive decline and on the most recent neuroscience studies, I can state with conviction, what you put on your plate today determines how your brain will function tomorrow. Alzheimer's doesn't begin with memory lapses. It begins silently, decades earlier, with each food choice we make. Now, how can you apply this information in practice? I'll share some simple strategies that my most successful patients have implemented. Start by replacing the traditional breakfast, bread, juice, processed cereals, with options rich in healthy fats and proteins. An example would be eggs with avocado and a portion of berries. This simple change already drastically reduces the morning glycemic bombardment to your vulnerable brain. For main meals, adopt the colorful plate rule. The more natural colors, not from artificial colorings, the more neuroprotective antioxidants you'll be consuming. Start your meals with a salad rich in cruciferous vegetables and finish with extra virgin olive oil. Reserve space on your plate for quality proteins, including fatty fish at least twice a week. For snacks, replace cookies and bread with nuts, seeds, and fresh fruits. Always carry a small container of nuts or almonds to avoid resorting to ultra-processed options when hunger strikes away from home. And what about that craving for something sweet after lunch? Try replacing it with 1 or 2 pieces of 70% cocoa chocolate, rich in neuroprotective flavonoids. A particularly effective strategy is to implement fasting windows of 12 to 14 hours between dinner and the next day's breakfast. Recent studies from Yale University show that this period without caloric intake activates mechanisms of cerebral autophagy. Literally, the brain's self-cleaning, eliminating damaged proteins and metabolic residues. Could you, for example, have dinner until 8 p.m. and only have breakfast at 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. the next morning? Remember, the transformation doesn't need to be radical and immediate. Small, consistent substitutions over time have powerful cumulative effects on your brain health. Start by eliminating the most present villain in your diet and replacing it with one of the protectors I mentioned. The following week, make another substitution, and so on. In a few weeks, you will have completely transformed your diet without the shock of a radical change. It's important to understand that this is not just a protocol for those who already show signs of cognitive impairment. It's a preventive approach that all of us, especially after 40, should adopt. Have you noticed how some people reach 80 or 90 with sharp minds, while others begin to show significant cognitive decline already at 60? The difference often isn't in the genes, but in the dietary and lifestyle habits they maintained over the decades. I want to leave a final message of hope and motivation. Unlike what was believed until recently, the brain has an incredible capacity for adaptation and recovery, what we call neuroplasticity. Even if you followed an inflammatory diet for years or decades, your brain can benefit enormously from the changes you implement starting today. It's never too late to begin protecting your most precious memories, your cognitive independence, and your quality of life. I hope this video has been enlightening and inspiring for you. The difference between preserving your most valuable memories or losing them prematurely might be in the next fork you bring to your mouth. What choice will you make today? I'd really like to know what you thought of this information and if you've already noticed any relationship between your diet and your mental clarity. Leave your comment below, share this video with someone you love who could benefit from this information, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content on brain health and holistic well-being. Stay tuned for upcoming videos because I'll reveal the complete protocol that has already helped hundreds of my patients recover their mental clarity and independence. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and I'm here to help you preserve what's most valuable, your healthy mind and your precious memories. Until the next video.